Hello students, today we are going to learn an important and interesting chapter, Sectors of Indian Economy, Economics second chapter. When we are discussing these sectors of Indian economy, first we need to learn the important concept, that is the three important economic activities of a country: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Then what is primary sector? Primary sector is nothing but certain occupations are directly connected to the natural environment. Example: agriculture, fishing, mining, lumbering, quarrying. All these occupations will come under primary sector. Then what about secondary sector? Secondary sector is nothing but the process of variety of goods. Example, we can take industries. In these industries also again two types. One is agro-based industry and one more is mineral-based industry. What is agro-based industry? Agriculture-based industry. So examples here: sugarcane to sugar industry, jute industry, rubber industry. So all these industries will come under, and one more is cotton to cotton textile industry. So all these industries will come under agro-based. Then what about the mineral-based industries using the minerals? Like we can take iron and steel, aluminium. All these industries will come under mineral-based industries. Then third important sector, that is tertiary sector. So what is this tertiary sector? Where giving services to both primary as well as secondary sector. So tertiary sector plays a very important role in the country, in the Indian economy. Okay, so which are the main occupations will come under tertiary sector? We can take transport, communication, banking, insurance, health, education. All these occupations, all these services will come under tertiary sector. Okay, then we need to understand the next concept, that is what is actually intermediate goods. Intermediate goods is nothing but certain raw materials are used to manufacture the final product, and this reaches to the consumer. That is known as intermediate goods. Example, we can take one example, best example, that is to manufacture one biscuit. To manufacture one biscuit, what are the raw materials are required? We can take the wheat flour, we can take milk, we can take sugar. So all these raw materials are used to manufacture the final product, that is biscuit. Finally, when the consumer can consume it, can use it. So that will come under intermediate goods. Then next concept is GDP. So what is GDP? GDP is nothing but the full form of GDP, gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is nothing but the total value of goods and services produced in a country in a year is known as GDP. The next concept what we are going to learn, that is the historical changes in these three sectors: primary, secondary as well as tertiary. What changes we can see in this primary sector as well as secondary sector and tertiary sector? First, the people only used to depend on primary sector for living purpose. So later on, what happened? The people started taking up different types of activities. Even we can see lot of development in agriculture sector, even using the HYV seeds, using scientific method of cultivation, using chemicals, fertilizers, irrigation system, right? So lot of changes we can see in the agriculture sector. Even the people also started choosing the different types of activities, like the people are working as a carpenters, even the people are working as a craft people. So like the different activities are taken by the people. Then only depending on primary sector, what happens? The country will be considered as a underdeveloped country. So even the government has given importance for the development of secondary sector. So more number of people started seeking employment opportunities in secondary sector, because different types of variety of manufacturing of variety of goods. Then slowly, gradually, even the tertiary sector also gaining importance, because where this sector giving services to both primary as well as the secondary sector. So how this sector started gaining importance? So here we need to understand one more concept, that is why tertiary sector is gaining importance. What is the importance of tertiary sector in India? Tertiary sector, as we already learned, tertiary sector is nothing but transport, communication, banking, insurance, health, education. All these services are given by the government to the people. Even the people can access to all these services. So then here second point will come, where the primary and secondary sector, whatever the goods are manufactured in primary as well as in secondary, so tertiary sector is playing a very important role to transport that goods from one place to other place. So even this tertiary sector giving services to both primary as well as secondary. Then third point here it is, as the income of the people increased, they started demanding many more services. Like the people wanted to visit the hotels, at the same time the people wanted to visit the tourist centers. So all this will come under tertiary sector. So we can say that tertiary sector plays a very important role. At the same time, last point, information technology plays a very important role, where 30% of the women are employed in this information and technology. At the same time, more number of people are seeking employment opportunity in this information technology. So finally, information technology will come under service sector. So we can say that tertiary sector is gaining importance. So next concept we need to learn that where more number of people are employed. Where more number of people are employed, we know that more number of people are employed in primary sector. But here one thing we need to understand, more number of people are employed in primary sector, but the country is earning only 1/4 quarter only we are earning GDP from this primary sector. Less number of people are employed in secondary sector, secondary as well as tertiary sector, but where the country is earning 3/4 quarter of the produced GDP from this secondary as well as tertiary sector. One thing we need to understand, more number of people are employed in primary sector but less GDP, where less number of people are employed in secondary and tertiary sector but the country is earning more GDP. Why these differences? What was the main reason for this? Because where in agricultural sector, in primary sector, so the people are facing unemployment problem. What type of unemployment problem? What are the different types of unemployment problem here facing? Seasonal unemployment problem, disguised unemployment problem. So types of unemployment, seasonal unemployment. What is this seasonal unemployment? Where we can see this seasonal unemployment problem? That is normally in agriculture. So the farmers in rural areas, only certain days they have the employment opportunity. Rest they do not have any work. They need to sit idle at home. So normally we can see for the cultivation of paddy, how many months? 6 months they have the work. Rest they need to sit idle without any work. That will come under seasonal unemployment. Okay. At the same time, what about the second one, disguised unemployment? Disguised unemployment is nothing but in a family, take the example, in a family 10 members are there. All 10 members are involved to work in the small size of land holding, small plot of land. So instead of that, what happens? Rest 5 people will work in other agricultural field. They will get the wages so that they can lead their life. But in disguised unemployment, what happened? The people, those who are there, all the family members are involved to work in the small size of land holding. That is, proper definition for this disguised unemployment, more number of people are employed than required. Okay, under that, in contrast to this disguised unemployment only, one more is underemployment. Underemployment is nothing but the people or the workers have the potential to do the work, but they are not working according to their potential. So these are the different types of unemployment. The next concept we are going to learn about how to create more employment opportunities. We learned different types of unemployment, everything. But here we need to understand how to create more employment opportunities. So here we know that the people, those who are working in agriculture field, they do not have enough money to cultivate the crops. So they are going for the money lenders for the money purpose. At the same time, they are paying high rate of interest. That is, we know that one proper slogan, that is, the farmers born in debt, live in debt and die in debt. At the same time, even the farmers are depending on rainfall. But the rainfall in the country is irregular, uncertain and unevenly distributed. So because they are not going for the irrigation system, because irrigation system, if they wanted to adopt, it is very costly and the poor people are unable to afford it. Here, one thing, how to create more employment opportunity. So if the government provide loan at low rate of interest, it will be benefit to the poor people. At the same time, establishment of different small scale and cottage industry, even the people can start, they can take the employment in this small scale and cottage industries. At the same time, when the government is providing loan at low rate of interest, even the people can take up the self-employment opportunities. At the same time, even if they'll expand the many education institutions, at the same time tourist activities, so that also one way benefited to the people. Even education institution, that is the planning commission introduced, where 20 lakh jobs provided only in educational sector only, educational institutions only. At the same time, according to the tourist activities, tourist centers, even the government started providing more than 35 lakh people started taking the employment opportunity in this sector. And one more thing, not only these programs were introduced, many more programs to solve this unemployment problem in the country, like IRDP program, that is Intensive Rural Development Program, at the same time NREP program, National Rural Employment Program, at the same time PMRY, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana. All these programs are introduced to solve the unemployment problem in the country. When we are talking about the main important program where we need to concentrate, that is NREGA. NREGA, that is Right to Work Program, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, introduced in the year 2005. So where more 625 districts are benefited under this program. That is 100 days employment opportunity, where they are going to provide 100 days employment opportunity. If the government fail to provide job to the people, then the government is going to give the unemployment allowances to the people under this program, under this NREGA program. Next important concept we are going to learn about the organized sector and unorganized sector. What is organized sector? What is unorganized sector? Organized sector, under organized sector is nothing but certain rules and regulations will be followed. So directly under the control of the government. At the same time, job security will be there, the people, those who are working in organized sector. Paid leaves will be provided. If the workers are working more number of working hours, then they are going to get the extra payment. At the same time, incentives will be provided. Medical facility will be given. At the same time, education facilities also will be given to their children. So many more facilities will come under organized sector. Then what about unorganized sector? Totally opposite to the organized sector. Under unorganized sector, no proper rules and regulations will be followed, no job security, because any time if the management are not happy, they can remove the workers anytime. If they will work more number of working hours, also no extra payment, no proper facilities, no health facilities will be provided. So totally opposite to the organized sector. At the last concept, what we are going to learn about. Okay, next concept we are going to learn about the public as well as private. So what is actually public sector as well as what about the private sector? Public sector is nothing but directly under the control of the government. That is the central government. Example we can take BHEL, SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited, at the same time HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. So all these companies are come under public sector. What about the private sector then? The private people, like group of individuals are starting the business. Private sector is nothing but where the group of individuals or the private group of people involved in investing as well as gaining the profit. Example we can take TISCO, that is the Tata Iron and Steel Company. At the same time we can take Reliance and many more industries. Like we can take the example here under public sector where certain rules and regulations will be there, whereas private sector no proper rules and regulations, where in the public sector job security will be there, where under private sector no proper job security, anytime they can remove the workers. So and here public sector lot of health facilities, education facility will be provided to the workers, whereas private, so we cannot expect that.
In the next video, I'll upload the most important questions and MCQs of this chapter, which is expected for board exams. Please watch. Thank